I never thought I'd be talking about a NASCAR race when only 65 laps have been run, or somewhere around there, out of whatever, 160, 200, whatever it is. And yeah, it's not over actually, but I'm talking about it. So that's never happened. The only time I've ever talked about a NASCAR race before it ended was actually when Ryan Blaney won the All-Star race at Texas. If you guys remember that, it's because Texas pissed me off so much, I just started the race review before the race even ended because I was so tired of Texas Motor Speedway as a racetrack. This one's a little bit different, very chaotic, and it's not that I didn't like the race. I actually did. It's just a lot of stuff happened, and so here we are. I am recording this at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. At the current moment, the race has not been postponed to Monday, and they cannot call it official because the red flag, you have to get to at least halfway, or you have to get to the end of stage 2, and I think they're about like 40 laps away from doing that, so they need to come back tomorrow in case that happens. But for this video, I just mainly want to talk about what has already happened in the race, because it's a big deal. I think there's two main talking points I want to talk about. One involves Chase Elliott, and two involves the racing overall, because I think both of them are massive deals. And if I was to make a race review on the way the pace of the race and how it was going, it would have been probably 25 minutes long. So I'm going to probably separate the two of them, which is what I'm doing now. So let's talk about what has happened in the race so far. Let's first start off with Kyle Busch underneath Ryan Blaney, ends up crashing, and this one's actually like the simplest of all of them because it's Kyle Busch's fault. He goes in there, slides up, loses control, hits Blaney, spins out, wrecks, and that's that. Kyle Busch has wrecked in that 8 car a lot, in my opinion, this season. I think he is getting a lot out of the car, and with that, he is also making some mistakes, and I think in the last few years he has been making more mistakes than usual when it comes to Kyle Busch, but he is also not in his prime anymore, so it's kind of understandable. And then we get to the big moment of the race because it has playoff implications, points implications, and it obviously involves the most popular driver who everyone's been watching to see if he can actually get the job done and make it into the playoffs after missing 7 races or whatever it was that he missed with his broken leg from a snowboarding accident. Elliott blows a right rear tire, not in his control, backs it into the wall, and you will see this kind of wreck multiple times. You saw it with Kyle Busch as well, but you'll see this multiple times throughout the day in terms of this style of crash, backing into the wall and everything. This is huge for Elliott. I personally thought, along with Denny Hamlin, I was on board with him, that he would point his way in. Michael McDowell struggling today, Elliott running in the top 10, and I think he would get stage points, and we'll see how all that blown out the window, literally blown out the window in stage 1 with a blown right rear tire. Sometimes it is just not your year, and for Chase Elliott, I think it just is not his year. It's not going to be a Tony Stewart situation. It's not going to be a Kyle Busch situation. He misses 7 races. He hasn't won. I don't think he is going to win, and he's just going to finish the season out, come back next season. Might be a change on the crew chief box with Alan Gustafson. I don't think there will be, but as someone who has personally been a fan of drivers with Alan Gustafson as crew chief, I've been around him a long time. Gustafson does have some weaknesses in his crew chiefing game. Well, he does have some strengths, but he's a very stubborn man, so he sometimes doesn't change. And I just have always had the feeling that Chase Elliott and Alan Gustafson don't merge together perfectly. Like there will be another combination out there maybe that I could look for, but that's maybe because the 9 team has not had speed. William Byron has outperformed him. Kyle Larson has outperformed him. Alex Bowman, I would say probably not, but also Alex Bowman got injured too, so it happens. But Larson and Byron have outperformed Elliott, and I don't think that 9 team has been very good. I also don't think he will win one of the next 3 races. 2 of them are road courses, and that's actually a little bit surprising to say that the road course king would not win at a road course, but that 9 team has not shown speed on a road course. That 9 team has not shown speed on speedways. That has not shown speed on short tracks. It has not shown speed at super speedways. Just not going to happen. You need to have the car. As good of a road course racer as Chase Elliott might be, he did have the car as well. And you need to have the car. And I don't think that 9 team is going to bring a good enough race car either to Watkins Glen or the Indianapolis road course. And then you have Daytona. Of course, you could always win Daytona, but in my opinion, this 9 team has been cursed or something. I don't know. They don't have the speed. The Toyotas clearly have the speed. Gibbs cars have the speed, and then occasionally the Fords will bring the speed. That 9 team has not brought the speed all year long. And just to think that it's going to happen in the last 3 races, I don't think so. You do have the miracle of Daytona. That is possible. But now that you can't point your way in, the reason why I thought he would get in is because he would point his way in. I don't think he's going to win the road course races, but I do think he would get stage points. I do think he would run well enough to make up 40 points in 4 races. That's not happening. He's going to be sub 70 points now, and it's just that's it. So I don't see him winning a race. And Chase Elliott, to me, in 2023, is done for the season. It's just about, and when you're not in the playoffs too, you kind of just you show up to the racetrack, lack of motivation. It's not going to go well. So the end of the season just needs to come around real quickly for him, kind of like how the end of the year. To be honest, I want the end of the year to come around quickly for me too. 2023 was good, and it's turned very sour, but I'm not going to try to talk about that. So let's just keep going. Josh Berry also ended up wrecked, same way, backing it into the wall. Heavy hits. A lot of heavy hits today. Seriously, you back it into the wall. Remember, this is how Kurt Busch basically got knocked out of his ride in NASCAR full time at that Pocono incident. Now, NASCAR have made changes. The rear end is crumbling more, but these hits are still very hard. I don't think they're anywhere near as relieving or like as, what's the word? They are more punishing than what Gen 6 was doing, because Gen 6 was a very safe race car. But, this one, they're still working on it, and so a lot of big hits. And then you have Christopher Bell and Alex Bowman. This one was very, very fascinating, because this one kind of leads me to my second point of the video. The first point was Chase Elliott. This one leads me to my second point. It involves Bell and Bowman, and just there's a racing incident. So, Bell gets side drafting, going for the lead. Bowman side drafts him back. They're racing really aggressively. And remember, this is like lap 60 or something. We have a long way to go. We're still at the beginning part of stage 2. And these guys are racing really hard, and Bowman side drafting and Bell side drafting, and Bell drives into the corner, and he kind of misses his entry and kind of runs into the side of Bowman a little bit, tries to get back down, and then ends up losing it and backing it into the wall. Denny Hamlin has a perfect view of it all, and you'll probably hear about it on his podcast. So what does this have to do with my second reason? My second reason has been something that has just really been opening my eyes as of late. I know it's been happening for years in terms of the take, and don't give. And I've seen that, and I've never really thought about it that much. I've always thought that there's always a level of give and a level of respect in the field when it comes to racing. But, man, I just think motorsports, not just NASCAR, but motorsports in 2023 is just way different, and I have to accept that. Like, I'm starting to accept it now. And I remember Jeff Burton was talking about it on the commentary, and he was like, you have to do this. You have to go over your limit. You have to be over aggressive to the point that it makes you uncomfortable, because if you're not doing that, then you're not getting the most out of your car, and you're not getting the most for your team, and you're not getting the most for you as a race car driver. And it's just a complete change of mentality. If Christopher Bell and Alex Bowman were racing 4 years ago in this same exact situation, I don't think they side draft as aggressively. I don't think they fight as hard for P1 with 140 laps to go. It is a little bit crazy to me to see how racing has changed. And I want your guys' opinions on that, because for me, it has really hit me in the last few weeks. Before that, I've never really thought about it. But in the last few weeks, it has really hit me how aggressive you have to be in racing. Just like pure racing in 2023 in all forms of motorsport, and how it is take, and no more give. And it leads to incidents like this, but I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I'm not. It's just a completely different style of racing. It's very entertaining because you do see guys going for it all the time, but if I was a race car driver, and this is what I'm having like trouble with my head and doing, is like, you want to get to the end of the race, you want to be respectful as well. You don't want to like put others in bad positions, but I am learning via iRacing and how iRacing is now, that actually iRacing and real life racing are way more similar than I thought they were. They're actually way more similar. iRacing's a little bit more over exaggerated, but it's the same thing. Take, never give. Go 3 wide when you can. Don't lift. Take the spot. Slide up in front of someone. It doesn't matter if it's lap 30, lap 130, or lap 2. You just take all the time. And it's I'm getting used to it. I really am. I want to know what you guys think about that, because for me, it is not how I would race, and yet it's how you have to race. So it's kind of like you don't have a choice because everybody is doing it. So yeah, just let me know what you think in the comments down below about that. If I'm like coming to my senses too late or something, I don't know, but it's just kind of crazy. That incident really opened it for me, because I was like, man, you guys didn't have to side draft like that, and you didn't gotta be that close. There was still a long way to go, but everyone's fighting, and Michigan has to play a part in that too. Michigan as a racetrack, with that repavement that they did multiple years ago, this is how it is now. That bottom lane is not the place to be, and you're carrying so much speed, and the next gen car, especially at this track, again, that problem that I think this car has is that it doesn't have enough horsepower, but it has a lot of grip. So you're going like 195 into the corners, but you're going like, at that moment when Bell and Bowman are going side by side, they're probably what, 190, 185. Like, you're not lifting that much, and the lowest speed that you're going in the middle of the corner is like 180. In qualifying, it was like 188. It leads to that problem that I think NASCAR has been having for a long time, and that is the lack of horsepower. I actually do think that some of these incidents wouldn't be happening if you gave the car more horsepower, because they'd have to lift. It's just that simple. They would have to lift. The amount of grip that this car has at a track like this, and the tires that Goodyear bring, it leads to the same problem that we've been having with Gen 6, where corner speeds are too high. And then you go with like the 550 horsepower package. Again, that didn't change anything. The corner speeds were still too high, even with 300 lesser horsepower. The corner speeds are so high that that's what causes these kind of incidents, and also the dirty air. And I think some of that, the guys not being able to get too close is some of that as well. So I would love to see NASCAR add more horsepower, but then they would have to really redesign the race car in order to take some of the grip away, because the car has a lot of built-in natural grip, because it was designed for 625 to 650 horsepower. So yeah, Michigan kind of brings that out because of the high corner speeds. And this is only, I've said all this in a 14-minute video. We're only 60 laps into the race. It's crazy. And the last thing I want to say is about Martin Truex Jr. That car looks illegal. It's the only car in the field that he could dive it to the bottom, and it sticks like glue, and he could just pass whoever he wants. It's truly fascinating to me what that 19 team is doing. Truex has always been, in my opinion, underrated. He is, again, ever since he won those back-to-back Busch Series championships way back in the mid-2000s, he never had the ride, really, in his first, 10 years in the sport. But once he got the ride, he has been arguably the best since his, we got in that 78 car. So, yeah, that car, genuinely, he has to restart last because he wins stage 1. And the thing sticks like glue. It literally looks like an illegal race car. Compared to everyone else, he could just send it in there, and every time it sticks. It's a complete rocket ship. If Truex doesn't win this race, I don't know what has to happen, because again, tires don't mean anything, so track position is going to be all over the place, so the strategy is going to be huge. As long as Truex keeps track position, that's all that matters. Just pit him with like 50 to go when he needs fuel, and then never pit him again. Let him get the track position. No one's beating that car. It is ridiculous, like how fast that 19 car is. And that's also what I saw in these 60 laps. So I'm going to go ahead and upload this. It's 6 o'clock. I don't know. I haven't checked Twitter, like if the race is happening or not. But I just wanted to upload this because what happened in those first 60-something laps was very crucial. Very crucial. A lot to talk about. So yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. And if the race resumes, then I'll see you later. I don't really know. I might be uploading 2 videos today. I don't really know how this is gonna go. All right. Well, take care. Peace out.